Namaste children. Today we are learning CBSE 10th standard second chapter federalism, that is we are learning the political science second chapter federalism. What is federalism? Federalism is a system of government that is it is a system of government in which power is divided between central authority and among various constituent units. Where it is a system of government, and that what the government is doing, government is dividing the power, and that is some powers they are retaining with the central authority, that is power between central authority and among various constituent units. Various constituent units, that is a definition of federalism. But before moving deeper into the textbook lines, you should know some common basic things regarding the what a federal form of government is having, what is the real condition of federalism. So in order to know federalism, we can refer India's case. India is having a federal form of government, but in the constitution it is mentioned that India is a union of states. India is a union of states. What is constitution, children? What is constitution? In simple language, what is constitution? What are the laws and rules, or what are the laws, rules, guidelines followed, should be followed by the Indian citizens, Indian government, the entire public, you know that everything is written. So everything is written, that is constitution. That is what are the laws the state government should follow, what are the laws the central government should follow, like that. Everything is, that is some rules, laws, principles, guidelines regarding the governance of the country that we call as constitution in a simple language. And so with this we can see that the power is divided between central authority and various constituent units, that is known as federalism. And so what is central authority? What about India's case? We are referring India. So what about India's case? India is having a central authority. India is having a central government. So when India is having a central government, where the central government is situated, its office is situated in Delhi, we are having a central government. That is, we can see that in Delhi, New Delhi, that we can see that we are having central government. Then we can see that we are having various states, which are the constituent units. We are having various constituent units. We are having various states we are having. Yes, how many states we are having? We are having, earlier you can see that we have 29 states. When you know that when Jammu and Kashmir has been a state in India, but now Jammu and Kashmir divided into 2 union territories. So India now is having 28 states only. We are having 28 states, and Jammu and Kashmir became 2 union territories. That is in the northern portion and northwestern portion, that portion we can see that is Jammu and Kashmir, and the northeastern portion we can see that is Ladakh, like that. So Jammu and Kashmir, 1 union territory, and Ladakh as another union territory, which was formed October 31st, 2019. And later we can see that, so the states are having their own union, that is you can say states, various states we are having, various states. The power has been divided between states, and again the power has been divided between the union territories. So there is a central government and there are states and union territories. This we call it as federal form of government. So when power is divided between a central government or a central authority and among various union territories, that we call it as a federal form of government. India at present, India is having 28 states and 7 union territories. How 7 union territories? In 1905 itself, Delhi, you can say it's regarded as a capital territory of India, capital. And next we can see 1954, we can see the Puducherry has been formed. Then 1956, Lakshadweep and Andamans and Nicobar Islands. That is Andamans and Nicobar Islands in Bay of Bengal and Lakshadweep in Arabian Sea. They are considered as two union territories. Then we can see that now I told you Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, different union territories. Then one more change has happened in India. That is in 2020, 26 January 2020, Dadar, Nagar and Haveli, Dadar, Nagar and Haveli and Daman and Diu, all these together we call it as one union territory instead of two union territories. That is updates regarding our union territories and states. So we are having 28 states, one central government we are having, and we are having 28 states and 7 union territories. Among the 7 union territories, of course, Delhi is also there. So this is India's federal form of government, even though federation. That word is not mentioned, I told you already, that is union of states. And so this way power, central government is having power, state governments are having power, and so that system we call it as when the power is divided among different agencies, different authorities, that we call it as federal form of government. And in India's case we can say, so this is one tier, central government, then comes a state government and union territories in one tier, that is second tier, and one more tier of government we are having, that we call it as local government. We are having local government, that is we are having Panchayat Raj and Nagarapalikas. What is Panchayat, children? We know that whenever we think about Panchayats, we can see that one tree there, and in rural areas, you know that the people, most often people may be sitting on that particular side of that area and they may be talking, that is Panch, that is Panchayat, that Panch, 5 or more people come together and they will share their problems, or they share their ideas regarding whatever issues there, or they just simply spend time there. So that is Panchayats. So from that word we got the Panchayat Raja. And so the local government, you know that in rural area we are having Panchayats, and in urban area we are having the municipalities or municipal corporations. So local level, we can see if it is a panchayats we are having. In the rural area we are having panchayats, and in urban area we are having municipalities or municipal corporations. Panchayats, we used to say the head is Panchayat President, and the municipality is a municipal chairperson, and municipal corporation we are having mayor. That is a setup regarding 3-tier system. This is a local government, and where they will solve the problems of the particular area, like that. So this tier of system where the central government is having power, and the power has been divided between various states and union territories, and also among the local government, and we are having a 3-tier system. This is the federal form of government in India. And in between we can see that we are having the power. We have seen the first chapter, that is what about the powers of Belgium and what about the powers of Sri Lanka. Belgium had made an accommodation, and through that its central government has given the powers to, more powers have been given to state governments. So Belgium had experienced a federal form of government, but Sri Lanka, we can see that in a government where the Sri Lankan supremacy you have seen, and the Sri Lankan supremacy, and that is only one form of government. The power they have not divided, not shared among the territories, especially the northeastern portion where the Tamilian people were residing. So you can see that their power has not been divided, so it is experiencing a unitary form of government where only one level of government there. So when the government is having more than one level, 2 or more level of government, when this 2 level itself we call it as federalism, or that is this one level government, this two level government, and this is a third level government we are having. That is why we call it as a three tier system of government, and so we can see that when the pages federalism, the chapter begins, we can see it is mentioning about the Belgium, it is mentioning about Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka, it has their own language supremacy, you have seen, and it is following a unitary form of government, only one level of government where power has not been divided. But here in the Belgium, power has been given, the more powers have been given to states. More powers have been given in the Belgium, that is Brussels government had given power to the different regions of the Belgium. So we can see that is following a federal form of government. I hope you just understood. When you are understanding federalism, this way the power has been divided. And now we can move to what is the power of government, what is the power of state government, what is the power of local government, what is local government. Even though it is mentioned, really we can see that the powers of this government have been mentioned in central list, state list, and concurrent list. How the powers of this government have been mentioned in the central list, then state list, and concurrent list. So, what are the powers should be enjoyed by the central government, that comes under the central list. What are the powers of the state government, those powers comes under the state list. And some categories, some departments that we call it as subjects. Subjects come under the central government is known as central list. Subjects that we call, that means some departments. Subjects come under central government, we'll call it as central list. Subjects come under the state government, we call it central list. And those subjects which will come under both the central government and the state government, we call it as concurrent list. So, central government's subjects which come under which is the interest of the entire nation, that is which are for the national interest, defense, railways, currency, communication, banking, etc. will come under the central government. And state government, we can see that police, agriculture, trade, especially nowadays public health, then sanitation, all these will come under and education. That is why you are having, all the different states are having their own educational policies, their own education departments. At the same time, the central government is also having the education system like CBSEs, you know, that which are controlled under by the central government. So that is how the state under the state we can see that we are having, concurrent list we are having the education. Why? Because education comes under both the central government and the state government. And the marriage and divorce, all this will come under the concurrent list. Both the central government and the state government can take the decision regarding any disputes or any issue come under. So, central government which deals the subjects, those subjects which are written in the constitution, they come under the central list. Those subjects which are mentioned, which are given to states, they come under the state list. And the concurrent list means those subjects can be dealt, education can be dealt by central government as well as state government. These are known as concurrent list. So, this is the basic things, even though it is mentioning the central, state and concurrent list will be mentioning in the textbook, but just you understood how the power among the power in the hands of the central government and among the various union territories and the state governments. I hope you understood the basic things regarding federalism. Thank you.